Jeff Passan was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was on there saying that Paul Skenes needs to be traded. If the Pirates don't want to pay him, they should trade him now and get as many prospects as you can. I've talked to people that are Pirates insiders that cover the team. They tell me that he's basically their marquee player, right? He puts any butts in the seats that they can, so they're not going to trade him. It'd be tough to actually even put a valuation on what he's worth. But Passan was putting out some crazy type of trades, right? He wanted the Dodgers to trade Dalton Rushing and Josue DePaula and Zaire Hope and Andy Pages. Another trade would be Dalton Rushing, Josue DePaula, Zaire Hope, Kellen Lindsey, their first round pick, River Ryan, who they're really high on this comeback from injury, Hassan Kim for Paul Skenes. And yes, there's no doubt about it, Paul Skenes is the most electric pitcher in baseball. There's no doubt about it. He is that guy. He is appointment television. He's must-see TV. He's got star potential beyond just being a baseball player, right? With the whole Livy Dunn thing and just kind of being crossover. They move the needle. No doubt about it. But the truth is with Paul Skenes is if you trade for him, can you guarantee he's going to get healthy? And I don't, find every piece of wood you can knock on, right? I don't want to throw this out there, but I got to keep it a bug with you guys. Paul Skenes is in the 95th percentile in velocity. And this season, Skenes is averaging 98.1 miles per hour on his fastball. Last year, averaged 98.8. Pretty consistent. The facts show the harder you throw, the higher the risk of injury. And would you really want to absolutely gut your entire farm system? I mean, that is gutting your farm system for Paul Skenes. Might as well throw in the Hollywood sign, the Sandy Koufax statue, and In and Out. I mean, might as well just throw in Universal Studios. I mean, there's just so much you would have to include in a deal to get Paul Skenes. And if you trade for him and he gets injured, then that's a year without Paul Skenes that you're not having with Shohei, Freddie, and Mookie in what's left of their prime. So for me, yeah, if the Dodgers called on Skenes, it'd be interesting for sure. I was talking to a Pirates insider that he told me, period, point blank, he doesn't think LA's a fit for him from a personality standpoint. He thinks that Paul Skenes would prefer to be in somewhere like Texas, like the Texas Rangers, that he likes to go out there and pitch, but doesn't love the limelight, the attention, the spotlight, like someone as good as him probably would and should. And that would be great for the game, but that's just kind of not his personality type. Yes, he went to El Toro High School here in Southern California, but doesn't seem like that is kind of who he is. And look, Zaire Hope's going to be a top prospect. Dalton Rushing, we've seen what he looks like. Rush Hour is here in LA. And DePaula is getting better. Kellen Lindsey, he's been on this show. He's fast. Trey Turner level vibes with him. Kim is Hassan Kim, Hassan him, right? So I just think that if I was going to consider this, it'd be after I knew what was going to happen with Tyler Glasnow or Blake Snell or Roki Sasaki. Yamamoto is a front runner to win the Cy Young. So I think it'd be too early to do that. That would be just burn the boats. You're going for Paul Skenes. I think that for long-term winning and sustainability, you got to have the lifeblood of your organization intact, and that is a farm system. So for me, I'd be out on it right now. If there was a slew of injuries to the starters and your only option to get a frontline guy was Paul Skenes and you wanted to maximize this season, then I'd consider it. But right now, I'm waiting to see if Blake Snell, who's been the best second-half pitcher, hey, as great as Paul Skenes is striking guys out, who has the highest strikeouts per nine statistically in MLB history? That is a one Blake Snell. So I'm waiting to see what those guys look like. But let me know down below in the comment section. JY, Robbie Hyde. Yeah, Robbie Hyde's a good friend of mine. He said estimates Skenes trade value to be around $117 million. It's tough to put a valuation on him. It really is. Because he's been this good, this young, and he has so many years of team control. He's pre-arbitration, so it's pretty wild. Mario Torres says, Pirates going to hold Skenes hostage until he blows his arm out. Yeah, that's the thing about Bob Nutting in this horrific ownership group in Pittsburgh is they don't know what they're doing. Don Kim, Friedman approaches hang around the backboard and be opportunistic. Solid approach resulting in signing Freeman. Yeah, absolutely. Don Kim, that's a great point. I'll give you a little comment of the show for that. No doubt about that. I mean, he's Dennis Rodman, Charles Barkley, right? He's there to catch the rebound. Right? That's exactly his approach, and it's worked for him throughout his entire career.
Talk of the town, Ken Rosenthal. Everyone in our industry is talking about it, but you are about to pour some cold water all over this nonsense.
Well, I wouldn't call it nonsense, because the question of whether the Pirates should trade Paul Skenes is a legitimate question. I just don't see how it happens at this juncture, and I'm going to explain why as clearly as I possibly can. First of all, the Pirates just fired their manager. Their general manager, Ben Cherington, might not be back after this year. It's his sixth year, just as it was Derek Shelton's sixth year. And if you're Bob Nutting, the owner of the team, and you're expecting progress this year, he's on record as saying that, and there's no progress, and it's sixth year of Ben Cherington's tenure, what is the likelihood that he will be retained after this year? I would say probably not good. And if you're Bob Nutting and you're assessing all this and you're even thinking about trading Paul Skenes, you might be thinking, why am I going to let a GM that I might let go trade the franchise pitcher when the next GM, that should be his call? So that's reason number one, that I don't think this is feasible at all. Reason number two, strictly from a baseball value perspective. Juan Soto, when he was traded from the Nationals to the Padres, had 2+ years remaining. Paul Skenes has 4+ years remaining. And you remember the return for Soto. It was one of the great returns in trade history. It included C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, and of course, James Wood. You're going to get even more than that for Paul Skenes. You're going to find a team willing to do that? Maybe. I just doubt it, as protective as teams are of prospects today. So if you're talking about the Red Sox, just as an example, Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony, you probably have to start there, and I don't know that the Red Sox want to do that, even for Paul Skenes. And finally, with Paul Skenes, what would the message look like if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, you've had 6 straight losing seasons, you're working on your 7th, and then you trade the best thing about your team, period. You've already had PR disasters this year with the taking down of the Roberto Clemente sign, the ceremonial bricks that you screwed up with as well. Obviously, those are off-field issues. This is an on-field question. And I guess if you could make a great trade for a team that can't hit, yes, they could use some offensive players. If you could do that, okay. But again, that goes back to the value question, and I just don't see it happening. The message would be horrible, the value would not be enough, and the GM that would be making the trade might not be your GM much past the end of this season. So I just don't see it happening. I guess if you're the Pirates and you're worried Paul Skenes is going to blow out any minute, which I guess is a fair concern for any team with any pitcher, then maybe you consider it. But really, for all the reasons I just stated, Alana, I don't see this happening.
Yeah, speaking of blowing out, Jared Jones obviously going to the IL with surgery for him as well. But is Paul Skenes, Ken, always a tradable piece? I mean, is this something that they're thinking, okay, we got to think about the value. Do they wait until he only has 2 years left instead of 4+ years? Is he always going to be on the trading block in their mind?
Here's another thought, Alana. What if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates and you actually try to build around Paul Skenes? How about that?
What a concept, Ken.
And Mark Feinsand pointed this out on MLB.com today, and it was a really good point. The Tigers 2 years ago with Tarek Skubal, they weren't in a good place, and yet here they are. They've built themselves into something formidable. In fact, best 50-game record in baseball right now. So if you're the Pirates, that's what you should be doing. You should be building around Paul Skenes, not thinking about trading him. They didn't do much in the offseason at all when they had, again, this franchise pitcher and going into his first full year. I just don't understand the way they operate. Neither do a lot of people in baseball.
Yeah, I can't believe that it's even a topic of conversation. He's one of the most, exciting players right now. But, if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, maybe you're looking to get something back instead of build around your current team. Paul Skenes is going to be a lot of fun to watch, Ken, for a very long time. Let's talk a little bit, though, about the all-century club, if you will. I mean, this is a quarter-century team that we're talking about. So The Athletic did a nice piece about who would you put on your